Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we know you're out there. We know you're listening because you ain't got nowhere else to go. It's Beef Sticks Podcast, Happy Hour Special. My name is Paystee.
I'm Fat Mack.
Thank God for podcasts, man. You can't transmit that shit to the masses, and they can still enjoy you and your hacking lungs.
Yes, they can. Oh, it's good. Beautiful day. Everything's going swell. You just gotta love it. It's a good time to be alive, my friends. It's a good time to be alive.
Unless you're a toilet paper manufacturer. Oh, I guess it's probably a good
time. No, then it's the best time to be alive, pal. What are you talking about?
That's the only part of the economy that's holding up right now.
I want to know where these places are that people are saying there's no toilet paper. Like every store I've been to, and I don't go to millions of stores, but I've gone to a handful of stores that sell toilet paper, and they all got plenty.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
I think it's the stores just clearing their shelves for a second, taking pictures, and then just being like, "Oh no toilet paper. You better get some while you can." Yeah, get out of here.
Jack up the prices a little bit. Supply and demand.
Yeah.
Folks, invest in a bidet.
Bidet.
You'll be cleaner, fresher, for longer.
Get one of those with the hair
on
dryer
it, too. Sponsor of Beef Sticks Podcast. If you like to tongue tickle fart boxes, you need a bidet in your life.
Oh, and speaking of tongue tickling fart boxes, that brings us to this week in pro wrestling history, Paystee.
Oh yeah,
we're going all the way back to the glory days of 1997, when March 10th. WWF introduced Raw is War. This was the 200th episode of the series, originally known as Monday Night Raw, but it had very little resemblance to the past episodes. Besides just the name change and a new logo, by the way, the rebranding came with a brand new set, show-opening pyrotechnics, one of many things WWF would borrow from WCW, and a new intro, Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson.
One of my favorite wrestling themes of all time.
I hope you didn't enjoy it too much because the song only lasted a few weeks because of rights issues. So
did it really?
Yep, they had to change it.
I remember that being for like years.
Nope, I don't. They got like 2-3 weeks of it and it was cut off. They couldn't afford it. But also of note, this is believed to be the very first episode of Raw helmed by Vince Russo as its head writer. Bro. The edgier content and the de-emphasis on matches, with a greater emphasis on storytelling, promos, vignettes, and swerves, is now known as Crash TV, and it would lead to WWF not just surpassing WCW Nitro in the ratings, but by 1999 become the most watched weekly show in the history of cable television. That's huge. They wish they could have that nowadays. As for this episode, though, ratings were a respectable 2.3, which was pretty consistent with what WWF was doing at the time.
Hey, Fat Mack, I'm sorry, but I've got to interject.
All right.
My sources say it was the opening theme for SmackDown from 2001 to 2003. So they
might have brought it back to 2000, yeah, or to SmackDown. That's possible.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't long in comparison to most of them, but to me, it's the most iconic. Plus, I guess I had like the SmackDown versus Raw games of the day, so I heard it there a lot too. But 3 years
they lost
is the window.
For Raw, brought it back for SmackDown. So people must have liked it.
It was on Raw. Okay.
We're talking about Raw. Hello.
Okay.
This was before SmackDown existed, son. 97.
Yeah, well, Union Underground had the best Raw theme. Turn to the music, play my fucking music.
So they had a respectable 2.3, but Nitro still ended up walloping them in the ratings with a 3.5.
You knew what the Attitude Era was when the song kicked in. I get the guns, the drugs for my generation. It's the best.
Are we good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
I could sing the rest.
Matches
I love
of
that
note
song.
include IC champion Rocky Maivia defeating Tony Rowe in a non-title match. The new Blackjacks, which was Barry Windham and John Hawk Bradshaw. Defeated Owen Hart in the British Bulldog by DQ. Miguel Perez defeated Leif Cassidy, who would later go on to be Al Snow. Billy Gunn defeated Aldo Montoya, who would go on to be Just Incredible. And the main event saw Vader and Mankind defeat The Undertaker and Psycho Sid. What a time to be alive.
Woo! 200 episodes. And since that day, it probably hasn't been quite as good.
No. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Man, that was a good time, though. I loved that era of wrestling. It was a
fun time to be a fan.
Yeah. My cousin always reminds me, like, we got in trouble. We were playing with sidewalk chalk. And in my mind, we just, outside of his apartment complex, we just colored for like hours and made all these awesome things. But I guess it had like DX Suck It everywhere, and we got into a lot of trouble for it. And he reminds me of that often.
Fun. More innocent times.
Yes, indeed. Well, I tell you what it really was.
What in the world? I've never seen that ever.
That was a perennial monkey humping a football. That's what that was.
I like it.
That's exactly what that was.
I think you're right. I think that's what it was, and it was amazing.
That's
the perennial monkey fucking a football.
What is
monkey
a perennial monkey?
Football.
I need to look this up. Is it a thing?
I don't know, but I love that it has to be specifically a perennial monkey humping a football. It's not just any monkey.
It's a perennial red monkey flower.
What?
Yeah.
That's what the monkey's called?
No, it's a flower. It's not a monkey.
Oh, so is the flower fucking a football now?
I guess.
Now it's not as cool, surprisingly.
And that's how the coronavirus was made.
Flower humping the football. Corona. Wow.
Oh, that's funny.
That's some.
Gets half
that's
of
some
it out.
crap.
Him and JR, they're one of or two of a kind.
Yeah, they are. They're one of a kind.
Yeah.
Both of them are one of a kind. You gotta love it. You gotta love them old school guys. They're these old guys. Their shows are. I don't know who listens to any of Conrad's quadrilogy of shows. No. Oh, he's got 5 shows now. Yeah, he's got a show for every week. But it's like other than Tony Schiavone, he's an old guy who's really he's really something else. But you got Arn and JR, and they just act a certain way, not bad or good, just a certain way. And then you have Eric Bischoff and Bruce Pritchard, who I'd say are maybe not quite a generation, but yeah, probably about a generation younger, and their shows are just completely different. Then you got What Happened When with Tony Schiavone. That's just a madhouse. I wish I still did drugs, because that show would be so much better if I did drugs. But it's also just so fun. Tony Schiavone just does and says the damnedest things.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I've tried the JR stuff. I've tried a lot of them, and they just don't sit with me. But I like the shit he has to say. He's funny, and as long as he's not on TV, I think he does well.
Well, the thing with Tony Schiavone is 90% of the time it's a watch-along. You don't necessarily have to watch along to enjoy it, but 90% of the time they do watch-alongs, and they just they rag on the show, or they talk about how fun it is, and they talk dirty, and they get into stories, and you just feel like you're just sitting there in a room with them enjoying it.
It's Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Pretty much, that's all it is. Yeah, it's like riff tracks with wrestling.
Sounds great. You know what wasn't really, or at least we can't really stand by it? WWE Elimination Chamber. Last week, Fat Mack told you guys he wasn't watching. I said I would for the sake of the show. And then I took a nap. And boy, did I sleep through 95% of this pay-per-view. Wow. Like I turned it on, the dog sat in my lap. I was like, oh, this is happening. I'm not going to fight it. And I woke up just in time to watch the Men's Elimination Chamber Tag Team Championship match. And then it was right back out. But I'm okay with that, I guess.
That's a hearty nap because WWE pay-per-views are like 3+ hours long. So.
Yeah, no, when I woke up, the TV was off, and it was like 12:30, and I'm like, oh, I feel real good.
Right. I guess we should just get into it. We had the pre-show tag team match. Viking Raiders defeated Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. I didn't know they were still a thing, but there they are.
Yep. They mostly I think they have a action figure YouTube channel and podcast. That's their life. Yeah. They're like us, except we probably get more views. Yeah, Viking Raiders won, as one would expect. Then we had Daniel Bryan defeating Drew Gulak by submission. This match I was still relatively conscious for. This is about when I tuned in, and I was like, damn, this has all the makings for a really good match. And then I played catch with my kids for the 15 minutes, 20 minutes that it was on.
Yeah, this is about the only one I was really interested in.
And it ended by submission exactly how you would want it to.
Right. Yeah, that's... if I was going to go, maybe in some collection somewhere down the line or something, this will be in it and I'll watch it or something. I don't think I'm going to go back and turn it on.
The way I look at it is the next one will be better.
Right. There you go. There you go.
They have the ability to go like the distance when it comes to entertaining a real wrestling fan, and I expect a lot out of this if it does go, but who knows? Because wrestling might just stop, huh?
Yeah, and that was an unannounced match also, so that's kind of that's a cool surprise for the people watching at home and in attendance to
very nice
to open with that. Then we had the United States Championship. Andrade retained his championship against Humberto Carrillo. I don't know what they're doing with Humberto. I don't know what the point is.
At this point, I don't think there is a point.
And Andrade, he's
I said it when he came in. Humberto, you gotta smile less, or you know what Vince is gonna do to you.
Vince doesn't like people being happy.
He just, I don't know. There's the trio of Hispanic wrestlers that are up and coming in WWE right now, and I feel like he's going to get the sandbag out of the three. For sure. Andrade is every dude's favorite. God, what's the other one's name?
And he's still banging Charlotte, so that helps.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hello.
Vince has to like him, right?
He just has to stay off of that getting picked up for substances.
Yeah. Fake piss helps everyone. Get some of that, Andrade.
Yeah.
I can't believe Ric Flair didn't give him some tips and pointers, like this is how you get around that shit.
I don't know that Ric Flair ever got around it. They didn't do it when he was wrestling,
Yeah.
And now he's, boring.
That is very true. So then we have the match I did watch, the Elimination Chamber SmackDown Tag Team Championship Extravaganza. Seeing as Fat Mack predicted, Miz and John Morrison retaining their tag team gold against the New Day, the Usos, Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode.
Just seems like a hodgepodge of people thrown together, but how did it turn out?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it was. Like we predicted, Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, and Ziggler and Roode were there for like individual spots, and that was about it. Lucha House Party, can't remember which one it was, but at one point a bunch of people are brawling near the edge of the ring, and then out of nowhere, one drops from the top of the cage, does like a moonsault, or not a moonsault because you have to jump, but he does a flip